Welcome back, friends. It is a hallmark of morning television that we have to get in the kitchen as our stomachs are rumbling at the beginning of the day, and we are always fortunate when our pal comes to give us some new cooking tips, recipes, twists on traditional classics, and that's exactly what we're going to do this morning with our pal, Lindsey Hargett. Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Nice to see you again.
Yes, of course.
And welcome back. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Take it away.
All right. So, like you said, we're kind of doing twists, and we've got Easter coming up this week, and you know, you've got some traditional things that you think of. I feel like everybody does like ham and potatoes, but what else do you eat with that? Yes. And so I kind of have a couple of new ideas. Okay. A little bit cleaned up, like we talked about earlier, not healthy. I mean, some of these ones that we're talking about in the first part are. The second part, we are going to be doing the potatoes. Not healthy, but cleaned up. So first, we're going to start off with the main ingredient of the potatoes, other than the potatoes. Usually when you think of, like, if you're from Utah, funeral potatoes, cheesy potatoes, pretty much everybody here has had them at least once.
Absolutely. And I'm not from here, and I got my education in funeral potatoes.
Yes, everybody has to try it. Yes. So, but one of the main ingredients is cream of chicken, cream of mushroom soup, and that's really not the best food. It's a little more processed. Yes. So this is a secret weapon that I promise everybody has these ingredients in their house. If you don't, go get them. So this is the best. So this is a substitute for cream of whatever soup. And it's basically starting off with a roux. So we've got a butter here. A roux is fat and flour. So we're gonna do butter. We're gonna do just regular all-purpose flour, but you can do gluten-free flour. You could do wheat flour. You can do it really however. So we've got some butter melted. I'm gonna have you pour that flour in here. Okay, we're going with all of this? All of it. Okay. So that's about 3 tablespoons of flour. And we can dump it right in. Sometimes I'm always worried if you have to kind of go gradually. You notice I'm still going gradually anyway. Better safe than sorry. But this is a super easy, foolproof recipe. So I've got fat and flour in here. We've got the butter. And really, it's gonna turn into this pasty mixture, and you wanna cook it for just about 30 seconds until it's what's called a blonde roux. Yes. And basically that's just so that it is blonde in color. And that way it is, you know, it starts to get a little bit of a nutty flavor, but doesn't get too burnt or anything. It has a lot of thickening power. And then all you're gonna do, so we're gonna get, this is chicken broth and then milk. So pour the chicken broth a little bit at a time like you were doing before. Okay. So give us just a little bit. And then what will happen is it will thicken. It will start to get even more pasty, so add a little bit more of that. And then you're just gonna slowly do this, and it's gonna be pasty for a second and then start to get creamy. So add even more of that. And this is just gonna thicken up, kind of like that, you know, congealed can of soup that you have.
Yes, but absolutely. Right, it's funny. It kind of does already start to look a little bit like what comes out of the Campbell's can.
But you know exactly what's in there. Okay, so you can pour the rest of that in there now. So we've just got this starting to thicken up, and like I said, we're gonna do this milk as well, so you can just add that in there.
Okay, all at once?
Yes, all at once. Right, and we're gonna let this just start to thicken up while we're doing the rest of our recipes. So, and this right here equals 1 can of soup. So it's 2 tablespoons of butter, 3 tablespoons of flour, a half a cup each of chicken stock or broth and milk. And then we can do salt and pepper however you want it.
And does it matter what kind of milk you use, the amount of fat that's in?
No, I've done skim. This is 1%. I've done whole milk before. You could even do cream. You could do coconut milk. This is so versatile. Like I said, you can do any kind of flour, and then you know what's in it. It's better than the soup. So we're gonna let that simmer up for a minute, and we're gonna talk about some other things. So another classic that you think of when you do like Easter egg hunts or Easter parties is deviled eggs. But we were talking about it earlier, deviled eggs are really rich. Yes. And so you can eat like 1 and you want to eat 1 or you want to eat 5, but they're like, you want to go into like an egg coma afterwards. And you've got to have room for Easter eggs. I got some Cadbury eggs. You've got to have room for everything. Yes. So we've lightened that up a little bit, kind of added like a Southwestern flair to it. So instead of doing like your traditional mayo or Miracle Whip, something like that, we're gonna use avocado for the fat. So this is a really simple like ingredient list as well. So you've got your egg yolks like normal. You know, you've boiled your eggs and you've got the yolks, and then we're going to do, like I said, avocados, and I've just mixed some lime juice in here so that they stay, you know, nice and green. Right. It's nice and fresh looking. And then we've got some cilantro and a little bit of red onion so that it's, you know, adds that little zing to it. And then I actually want you to pipe some of these. So we'll put this right here. So all you have to do is kind of pinch this and then hold it tight and squeeze with this hand. Okay. So pinch it from the top so it doesn't come out, and then just make them nice and beautiful. Lovely. Terry's coming for my job. They're looking great. So really all you have to do, you can put this in a Ziploc bag and just pipe them. You can scoop them too, but this makes it so easy. You don't need a fancy tip with, you know, the chunky onion and everything. It'll come out kind of messy if you do a tip. So I just cut the tip off a bag and you just pipe them in there and, you know, there's your green eggs right there. So they're lovely, nice and springy, and a little bit better for you too. These look gorgeous.
Yeah, the avocados, what a great idea.
So, and there's a lot more avocado, and that way you don't have to do, you know, like I said, any Miracle Whip, any mayonnaise. And so there you go. And then another thing, so these carrots, I feel like you see these in like the fancy gourmet magazines and on like cooking shows and stuff. These are the easiest vegetable side dish you will ever make. And they look so fancy to look like you came straight from culinary school to make your family some carrots. So all you have to do is you can get these, they're the real baby carrots. They're pulled when they're still tender and they have the, you know, really pretty greens. You just have to trim those greens off the top. And then a trick with carrots, I never peel my carrots. You can't even tell that they have peels on them, whether I'm chopping them up to put them in soups or I'm doing them whole like this. You just scrub them really good, especially if you get organic carrots. The peel's even better for you. So you just scrub them really good. And then, like I said, I cut the greens off and I toss them in just a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt and pepper. You could do fresh garlic. And then you roast them at 375 for 30 minutes until they're as tender as you want them.
375, 30 minutes. Okay.
Yep, you just throw them in there and they're super easy. So to go along with them, I made this little sauce and also a super easy sauce, but it's just got some like really complex depth of flavor. And so this is a feta and Greek yogurt dip to go with your carrots. You'll want to dip everything in this.
Healthy.
I was just eating it last night.
Yes.
Exactly. So it's just, like I said, feta and Greek yogurt. And I put it in the food processor so it was a little bit smoother.
Yes.
But if you want the chunks of feta, which are really good, a little zing of that, you can do that. So it sounds really simple, but the feta has kind of a sharpness to it.
Yeah.
And then the Greek yogurt has that kind of zing, that sourness to it. So those two together just really play well. A little salt, a little white pepper so you can't notice it. So good. Like I said, you're going to want to dip everything in this.
Fantastic. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and we will continue with Lindsey Hargett cooking in the kitchen right after this. Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show here on Park City Television. We're cooking in the kitchen and we are returning to chat more and try a little bit of these wonderful dishes with our Lindsey Hargett. Welcome back.
Thanks.
All right.
All right, let's get right into it. So, like we mentioned, cheesy potatoes, they're a staple around here in Utah, funeral potatoes, whatever you're gonna call them. We've already made our cream of soup substitute, so, you know, a little cleaner, but
absolutely.
You know, for the holidays, you don't always have to be healthy. So you can make little substitutions to make you feel better about it, but I'm still gonna eat cheesy potatoes on Easter, so might as well make yourself feel better. So we've got this cream of soup substitute that is, you know, obviously not globbing out like the can does, so that's a lot better. If you wanna pour one of those things of butter in, because like I said, not healthy, but
butter is my friend. It's just like a tiny little bit of butter. It's probably it's so little that you probably can't even see it on the camera.
Exactly.
Could you see it? No.
Nope. It wasn't even there. That's why we had to tell you. So we've got the butter. We've got the cream soup substitute. We're gonna do. You can do sour cream. You can do Greek yogurt, which makes it even cleaner. We've got sour cream today. That one has Greek yogurt in it.
All right.
I'm gonna let you pour that one in.
Absolutely.
And then I'm gonna talk about these potatoes. So you can get hash browns from the store. That's what people usually do. But I made these and kind of wanted to tell you how to do that. So all you have to do is roast some potatoes. So I did Yukon Gold, so I didn't even have to peel them because you can't see the peels in there. And I baked the potatoes, and as soon as they were cool, I stuck them in the freezer, and so that they were, you know, hardened up a little bit, and then I just put them through my food processor so that it shredded them. And then we've got these, I mean, it doesn't really look shredded, but we've got some real potatoes going on.
Well, I will say, yes, and you're leading me exactly to my comment, which is that they look real. They look great. Yeah, and they look, you can tell just visually that the texture is really nice.
Yeah, they're nice and like creamy.
They're not mashy, but they're also not like a firm slice.
Yes, they're not those that you get, kind of like the cheese, kind of like the separate from the store, you know.
It always is kind of the one thing that is a disappointment for me with like scalloped potatoes, of course, being Irish and Catholic from the Midwest, they're funeral potatoes too. They're just called a little different thing.
Yep,
but sometimes if they're undercooked, it's...
I know, that's the worst. So these for sure, they've been baked. They're delicious. I'm super excited. You don't have to wait forever until they're done and hope that the potatoes are done. So we've got the kind of cream mixture going here. I'm gonna let you mix in this cheese, because cheesy potatoes.
Absolutely.
And then you can add, you can add salt, you can add onion powder, things like that. I feel like the Greek yogurt or the sour cream has a lot of flavor. The cheese has a lot of that umami flavor too.
Well said.
So we're not really gonna add anything to this. It's just kind of this base.
And there's sodium in there.
Exactly, there's plenty. So you're gonna have that there. And like I said, we're cleaning it up a little, but we're still, just enough that we still wanna eat it, right?
Absolutely.
So then what we've got is the classic cornbread, or the cornflake topping. So you can, here, I'm gonna pour this in here.
Okay.
So we've got the cornflakes there, and you can get, some better cornflakes from the store. I just bought the generic brand. You can do it however you want to. You can clean it up as much or as little as you want to. So we've got this lovely cream mixture going on here, and we're gonna add it to our nice potatoes, and then, you just kind of stir that all around together. And then with our potatoes, or with our cornflakes for the potatoes, we're gonna add those in here. A little bit of butter again, butter, fat is flavor, so we gotta have some of that. So give us a little bit more butter. And then we're gonna stir those together, all of it.
All of it.
We're going all the way with this. So you stir that all together, get that all mixed up. You get the potatoes, I keep calling them potatoes, the cornflakes. You get the cornflakes and the butter mixed up, and then you're gonna pour them on top, and then you've got this kind of lovely, crispy, your traditional funeral potato. And
they're kind of they're golden brown already anyway. So
they're already crispy and beautiful. So then you're gonna throw that in the oven, 350 for 30 to 40 minutes. Like I said, the potatoes are done, so it's really fast.
Right.
And it's just super easy to go. So I think we should try some things, because I've been dying to eat those potatoes since I made them. So
you were mentioning that you were...
I wanted to dig into them last night.
Trying to figure out how last night.
Yeah, like get a little corner so that nobody would notice, but it wasn't happening, so.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and serve.
Okay, so we'll get a little bit of these. What I like about cheesy potatoes is I would eat them cold or warm.
Yes.
So like in, the next day. And here, I'm gonna grab one of these too. So we can sample some of these. And these recipes will be up on my website. I was gonna wait until I got pictures. So now we get a picture of the eaten stuff, so you know it's good.
Absolutely.
So I will get these up on my website. The website is lkcooking.com. You can follow along on my Instagram, which is just lkcooking on Instagram, and I'll post updates and things like that, let you know when the recipes are up there, and I'll be posting new class dates for April soon. So I do adults and kids cooking classes. We'll be doing some spring classes. It'll be super fun. So that's what we've got going on.
Sounds like there's a lot happening. That's fantastic as the weather gets better.
Yes, and hopefully.
Here we go.
We're working on it, Kelly. See what we think. Can you tell the difference with the homemade potatoes?
Absolutely.
The homemade potatoes. The homemade potatoes.
Well,
non-freezer.
It might sound corny to some folks, but I do think that if you have a fresh potato and you cook it yourself, there is a flavor here.
Yeah, you can tell the difference, and the more love you put into it, the more effort you can you get that back. So that's kind of how I feel.
So true, absolutely fantastic. And as you said, we're enjoying our potatoes at room temperature.
Cold
and they are wildly enjoyable.
And they're great, right? It kind of holds all together, and you warm these up, and you get that nice, cheesy.
Before we go, a bite of the
guacamole egg, kind of, huh? It's got some strong flavor, but
this is my new favorite egg.
Way to do deviled eggs.
Because of the tartness, and because, as we discussed when I did a huge batch at Christmas time.
You just eat them all.
8 tons. The mayo and the sour cream on top of the yolk is so rich, whereas this has got a little more of that acidic element that makes it more balanced. And absolutely.
You could eat a dozen and you wouldn't feel bad.
Muy deliciosa. Fantastic.
Good stuff.
So let's do social media stuff one more time. So it's the final thing that folks are thinking about.
Yes. So recipes will be up on my website, lkcooking.com. Much more current on Instagram, so at lkcooking. Find all the latest stuff there.
Lindsey Hargett, superstar.
Thank you.
Always great to see you. Always great to be fed by you. Thank you so very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
LK Cooking. Make sure to check out Lindsey for her fantastic recipes. And also, here's an idea. Hire her.
There you go. I can make it for you.
That's right. You certainly can. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, quick break. Cole Ritchie is here. We are going to talk about his golden ticket and what's coming in a thrilling development for his Minecraft hobby after this.